Good evening and welcome to the 2025 City of Green State of City Address. I'm Jeff Noble, President of City Council, and tonight I am pleased to call a special City Council meeting, the 2025 State of the City Address, to order. Per the City Charter, the Mayor is required to provide an annual presentation to Council with regards to the state of the city and looking forward into the coming year. This will be the only business we conduct at tonight's meeting. Please rise and remain standing for the posting of our national colors and the Pledge of Allegiance led by the Green High School student Shelby Heiner.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Colors. Order. Colors. Order. Colors. Mark time. March. Right. Face. Forward. March.
Please be seated. Thank you to the Green High School Air Force Junior ROTC for your professionalism. Let's give them a round of applause. Okay, so also thank you to all who have assisted in tonight's event, including our band ensemble students who played on the stage before the event, the Green High School video production students who are assisting with the production and live streaming of this event, our Green Municipal student representatives who were greeting you out front this evening. Thank you to the Green High School for the use of this beautiful auditorium, the assistance of staff members Amy Rock, Gregory Hoffmeister, Mark Warble, and Steve Lockstead. A special thank you to the Green Historic Society, Jane Weaver, and Sue Spargo for loaning these handcrafted quilts that you see all over this auditorium today. And finally, on behalf of Mayor Yeargin and Green City Council, I want to thank our city administrative staff who have assisted in organizing and facilitating this event. We would also like to take a moment to recognize all the elected officials who are in the audience tonight. First, U.S. Representative Amelia Seitz. Ohio State Representative Jack Daniels. A representative for Summit County Executive Eileen Shapiro. Summit County Sheriff Candy Fartherly. Summit County Prosecutor Elliot Kolkovich. And our own Green Law Director, Lisa Carey Dean. We'd also like to thank representatives from Governor Mike DeWine's office, representatives from Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRosa's office, and representatives from the State of Ohio Auditor Keith Faber's office. Also present from our great school system, we have the Green Local School Board members, Bob Campbell, David Cohen, Katie Stoynoff, and Eric Chinaki. And finally, from our schools, Superintendent Jeff Miller and Assistant Superintendent Alina Nemec. Also present tonight is the Mayor of New Franklin, Paul Adamson. And finally, your 2025 City Council members in attendance include Vice President Justin Spate, an at-large member, at-large Clark DeVitas, at-large Gerard Neugebauer, Ward 2 Councilman C.J. Mager, and Ward 3 Councilman Rick Miller. Ward Councilwoman Barb Bradlett was unable to attend in person tonight. Before I proceed further, I want to sincerely apologize if we missed anybody, any of our elected officials here tonight. So now it's time for our keynote speaker. So could you please take this opportunity and welcome Mayor Rocco Yeargin to the stage.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Noble, for the kind introduction. I want to thank my family seated here in the front row, my wife Melinda, daughters Katie and Bella, my son Skylar and his wife Julia, and my brother Steve. I also want to note that I did see our County Council representative, Mr. Cajun, come in today. Thank you for also being here. Members of City Council, residents and friends, those watching this at home, it is a pleasure as your mayor to present the 2025 State of the City Address. As I look out in the audience tonight, I see so many faces that make up our community. Neighbors and friends, volunteers who serve on our boards, residents that I see at events, even a few of my favorite lunch gals from our senior monthly luncheons, students, city staff, business leaders, and many more. But before we begin with formal remarks, I just want to take a minute and talk. And by the way, I do want to say thank you to my staff who spent many hours laying out all these beautiful quilts. Isn't this beautiful? Can we give them a hand? And I want to shout out to my friend Jane Weaver, who made this tie for tonight's occasion. Thank you. Thank you, Jane, for your time and your talent. And it seems like if you can get people to clap for your tie, you're going to have a good night. So you're probably wondering, what's with all this quilt stuff? As I reflect on my first year as mayor, what occurs to me is that we have much more that binds us together than divides us. And a quilt is a picture, of course, of our shared values, where we've been, but also a picture of the future, where we can go, because you can always add squares to the quilt. So the beauty of that is that we are all here together, united as a community, reflected on our quilts. Now, it reminds me of a story from when I was a younger man. And you have to know, there's a grandma story to tie into all this. But I met Grandma Durig in her farm back when I was a sophomore in college. It was actually the grandparents of my girlfriend at the time that I would eventually marry. And the farm became a central focus of our family. It was where we went for holiday. It was where we spent most of our major events. It's where we caught up with extended family, where we got away. The place where we let our stress go and just breathed deeper and slower. And what you need to know is this was in Bucyrus, Ohio. And Bucyrus is the capital of Crawford County, the county seat, and has a lot in common with the green of our township days. So when you compare Crawford County and green, there's a lot in common. Both communities were settled by farmers. Both communities were settled by Pennsylvania Dutch. And therefore, the traditions that you can still see alive in farm country in Bucyrus, Ohio, are the same traditions that our own Green Historical Society preserves from our township days. My favorite tradition from that farm had to do with quilts. And there were two parts of it. One is Grandma would find a way, she'd find one of the daughters, one of the aunts in the family, to make a quilt every time somebody was married or born into the family. So you receive this quilt, and for us, we would put it on a display rack, or we would rotate it out and have it saved in a hope chest that Grandpa made on the farm with his own hands. But there was also another piece to the quilt. There was a quilt that hung in the family living room, in the main room in the farm, and this was the quilt. You can see Grandma and Grandpa's name in the middle. They're referred to as Mom and Dad here. The farm is the centerpiece, and all around the quilt are the names of family members, their spouses, and the names of the grandchildren. Everybody whose name showed up on the quilt had a great pride in belonging to this quilt for a number of reasons. One is it just represented family. Two, it represented the thing that we did. We came out from all over the country and met here multiple times a year. And so this was sort of the hub of family life. And I think also people appreciated the fact that it was a tradition that was larger than ourselves. For me, this was particularly satisfying. When my name finally got on the quilt because I married in, I'll be honest with you and transparent, I felt like I was getting away with something. If you look at this quilt, look at the names. Jim, Jeannie, Jason, Josh, John, Tom, Susie. My name is up near the right-hand corner, just one over from the right. It stands out. This was a people of German descent. It still feels special to me as the person who was invited into the family from a little different background, the Italian kid from the city, to have made their way onto this quilt. But that's the power of family. And more precisely, that's the power of belonging to family. So what does that mean for Green, Ohio? Green is a patchwork, in a way, of individuals and families that make up our location, our history, and our community. Much like the pieces that make up a quilt. And I view my goal as mayor as basically providing our residents with the tools and with the space they need to write their name into the fabric of our community, to have that sense of belonging. My hope is that you'll have great pride, just like I did, in seeing your name in the fabric of our community, a pride in what we're building together, and in your place, your unique spot in making Green the place that we all call home. So tonight, for the next 30 or 40 minutes, I'm going to talk about some financials. We'll talk about our successes from the past year, and we'll look forward to the next year and talk about many exciting events and things that we have planned. But the question I have for you, and the ask I have is, while we're talking about all these wonderful things, to ask yourself, where do you see yourself in the fabric of our community? Where do you belong in Green's present and future? So let's get started. I'm happy to report that in 2024, we had an increase in income tax revenue by 2.6%. Total revenue for 2025 was $47.4 million. To share a bit more of the financial details, we have a short video from our finance director, Steve Schmidt.
I'd like to provide a clear and transparent overview of the city's financial performance for calendar year 2024. Our revenue, our expenses, and most importantly, the principles that guide our work in managing your tax dollars responsibly. In 2024, the city collected $30.1 million in income tax revenue and $17.3 million in other revenue, bringing our total revenue to $47.4 million. As finance director, I concentrate on revenue generated from employer payroll tax withholdings, which approximate 70% of total income tax collections, to monitor growth and to budget future anticipated income tax dollars. These dollars have remained relatively stable for the past several years. In 2024, we saw an uptick in employer payroll tax withholdings and anticipate this trend to continue. One of the key reasons for our city's financial stability is the diversification of our business community. No single business accounts for more than 2% of the city's total employment. This means that even if a business relocates or scales back, the impact on our overall revenue is manageable. On the expense side, our operating costs did rise by 9.6% compared to 2023, totaling just under $41 million, which was still well below the previously mentioned revenues. However, we remain committed to prudent financial management, ensuring our expenditures stay within conservative and sustainable limits. I am pleased to report that even with operating cost increases, we closed the year with a healthy 6-month reserve of nearly $23 million in our general fund. This reserve reflects our commitment to long-term financial security and readiness for any unforeseen challenges. Of course, none of this would be possible without the dedication of our finance and income tax team. Their professionalism, commitment to excellence, and integrity ensures that every dollar is accounted for and responsibly allocated. To each member of the finance department team, a sincere thank you.
As Steve shared, Green is in a solid position financially. We're well equipped to meet our needs and continue building a sustainable future for our community. I want to pause for a minute and share a bit about Steve Schmidt. Steve's been our finance director since 2016. In his tenure, the city has achieved the Auditor of State's Award of Distinction 5 out of the 8 years that he served, placing us in the top 10% of Ohio cities. This award meets the criteria of a clean audit, meaning that under his direction, Green has adhered to and maintained the highest levels of fiscal integrity, transparency, and trust. Sadly for us, Steve will be retiring in July of this year. Let me just say, when people ask me how it's going as mayor, I always give an enthusiastic terrific, largely because of the circle of people I get to work with every day. Our city directors and managers are highly skilled professionals. They're experienced folks who understand our community, and they're dedicated to serving our residents. From a mayor's perspective, their excellence reduces my stress and increases my joy on a daily basis. So when one retires, it's a big deal. What I appreciate the most about Steve is his strong command of all the aspects of public accounting, his unwavering reliability, his ability to keep a level head and a steady hand, and sometimes through stressful situations, often by cracking a corny joke. And the fact that he does his difficult job with such grace and kindness. Goodness seeps from his habits, both personal and professional. Steve, you will be sorely missed. A strong fiscal foundation is the bedrock of delivering the essential services that uplift and sustain our community. As a city, our focus is on providing services that flourish through collective effort and shared responsibility. Services like EMS, fire and public safety, community parks, roads, highways, and more. Together, these are the investments that make Green a great place to live, work, and thrive. This is what you expect from your city. Let me share some of our successes from last year. Our Green Fire Division responded to nearly 5,200 calls, a slight decrease from 2023. As has been the ongoing trend, 80% of these calls were EMS related. While I'm grateful that fewer residents required emergency medical services last year, I believe this number reflects a momentary dip rather than a lasting trend. In addition to meeting the daily needs of our community, our fire division enhanced how residents can access emergency services and took steps to expand support for those in crisis. Now available in Green and throughout Summit County is the ability to text 911 in an emergency. No matter where you are in the county, you can use this option if you're unable to make a call. While the preferred method is still to call if you can, texting is a great alternative when speaking is impossible. And finally, our fire division was awarded a 3-year grant from the One Ohio Recovery Foundation to hire a part-time mental health professional to serve right alongside our community paramedic and fire medics. This new mental health professional will collaborate with our fire division and sheriff's deputies to serve as a vital resource for individuals and families navigating mental health challenges. With the growing need for mental health support in our community, we're proud to offer this service to our residents. Furthermore, we know that fire departments across the region and state are closely watching our efforts as we lead the way in defining, implementing, and succeeding in providing meaningful assistance to those struggling with mental health. While the Green Fire Division continues to adopt our community's needs, innovation remains central to all of our safety efforts. From cutting-edge EMS care to addressing mental health with our new part-time position, we're committed to finding better ways to serve our residents. This commitment to improvement extends to our law enforcement efforts as well. Our partnership with the Summit County Sheriff's Office continues to provide exceptional value and service to our community. As Mayor and Safety Director, I've had the privilege of working closely with Sheriff Candy Fothery and Captain David McCutcheon, who lead the team in green. Their leadership and guidance have been invaluable. Building on this foundation of safety, we've also taken a significant step to enhance public security with the installation of 14 flock cameras across our city's road network. These cameras represent our proactive approach to law enforcement, leveraging technology to prevent crimes and catch offenders efficiently. Flock cameras work by scanning license plates and using a connected database to assist law enforcement in solving and preventing crimes. The presence of these cameras not only enhances police efficiency, but also acts as a deterrent to would-be offenders. We believe it will discourage criminal activity and contribute to a safer environment for all residents. Perhaps the most impactful aspect of adding the flock cameras is how we funded them. By utilizing a portion of the opioid settlement funds restricted by law to specific uses, we were able to support this project without relying entirely on general fund dollars. This approach not only respects the intended purpose of the settlement funds, but also demonstrates our commitment to using resources responsibly for the greatest benefit of our community. One of the things I'm proud of is how our team seeks all available funding sources for new projects. From smaller amounts, such as the flock cameras, to applying for grants for the outreach coordinator for the fire department, to larger amounts for road improvements. In 2024, the city received more than $2.2 million in grant dollars. Perhaps the best part is that all department heads are actively seeking grant opportunities wherever possible. It's a key part of our culture. Naturally, the largest share of grant funding we receive goes toward infrastructure improvements because of the significant cost of these multi-million-dollar projects. Last year, we secured the maximum amount available from federal and state safety funds for our next big project, Arlington Road. Last year, I stood up here and declared that there would be no major road construction in 2024. I hope you enjoyed the pause. And for those of you who are still recovering from the years of construction on Maslin Road, you'll be happy to hear we have one more year of no major road construction. The next major project, Arlington Road north of Bettler, is slated for construction to begin in 2026. This year, final planning and permanent and temporary easements will be finalized in preparation for next year. Now, we do plan to extend Southwood Drive, which runs from Arlington Road to the new Spring Hill Apartments, to the back of Jacobs Ridge. Eventually, Southwood will connect Tabbs Drive to Arlington Road, making another east-west connector parallel to Bettler Road. So moving forward, my plan for our roadways is 1, to maintain what we have, 2, to continue to leverage state and federal funding, and 3, make connections throughout our city to alleviate any congestion points. Once Arlington Road is complete, our major corridors should meet our traffic needs for years to come. Let me pause and extend my thanks to our engineering department with the support of our planning department. Together, these two teams have made the largest impact in our community in terms of our physical space. They're responsible for creating the tapestry of roads and connections all across Green. Now, I know we don't often think of roads connecting in our daily lives as what weaves us together, but infrastructure in any city truly personifies community connections. Roads, trails, sidewalks, and other physical connections in our lived environment drive community connections of all types. Being able to walk out your door and safely get to a park, a store, or work is important to any community. Another great use of grant funds in 2024 was adding an arborist to our team. This tree professional has been vital in solving issues like sidewalk upheaval caused by tree roots in neighborhoods like Kings Ridge, Charleston Place, and Spring Hill. While trees and bumpy sidewalks might not seem thrilling, managing our natural environment is about more than aesthetics. It's about safety. By addressing these challenges, we're making our neighborhoods safer, more accessible, and better connected. Beyond that, our arborists will play a role in identifying our city's tree inventory and pursuing grants to enhance the natural beauty of our parks and public spaces. Another service the city provides, which we don't often talk about, is preserving the history of families and individuals by providing a final resting place at our 2 cemeteries. Greensburg and East Liberty cemeteries, both established in the mid-1800s, are sold out of traditional plots. Residents who've called Green home, raised their kids here, spent their lives here, now desire to be laid to rest here as well. This is why we're building a columbarium. If you're not familiar with this term, columbarium is an above-ground structure typically constructed of stone with niches for the interment of funerary urns. Since fall, we've been selling niches at a pre-construction discount and have sold approximately 75 to date. Construction of the columbarium in the Greensburg Cemetery will begin in the spring. I must say, from the renderings of the stone structures and the landscaping plan for the columbarium section of the cemetery, this feature will be a beautiful, serene place for families to remember their loved ones. These essential services, from safety to road improvements and even final resting places, lay the groundwork for everything we strive to achieve in our town. They provide the stability and quality of life that attract and retain businesses, support economic growth, and ensure our city remains a thriving hub of opportunity. With that foundation in place, let's turn our focus to the growth and development that continue to drive Green forward as a center of innovation and economic vitality.
I'm Tom Flory. I'm one of the owners and operators of Sarah Auto Park. I moved from a small farming community in mid-Michigan in 2012 to open and operate this business here in Green. And the one thing I love about being in this community is it gives you that small town feel that I was so accustomed to growing up, but yet gives you the opportunity to own and operate a business that can grow and thrive. The reason you invest in a community like Green is I think other business owners and other businesses in the city support one another. So I think when our employees, and myself included, who lives here in Green, Ohio, we want to do business locally as much as we can. And I felt it here in our business that the community wants to purchase and service their vehicles with us. In return, I think our 250 employees, including myself, we want to continue to go to those businesses, have our events in those businesses, and really give back to ensure that we continue to grow and thrive as a community. Not just us, but the whole community.
Sarah Auto Park and all of our Green Auto Mile dealers are an important industry segment within our community. Of the more than 1,000 businesses that call Green home, our auto dealers collectively provide an estimated 400 jobs. And separately and together, these businesses reinvest in our community. Sarah Auto Park plans to begin construction of a new Subaru dealer at the site of the former movie theater this spring. In addition, Sarah also reinvests in our community by supporting many local organizations, including hosting the Top 25 banquet each year in celebration of Green High School students. Sarah was also our signature sponsor for the first Green Summer Celebration concert series and has signed on to sponsor our second season this year. Our other dealers are equally generous in our community. Toth Buick continues to be our title sponsor for the Green Grade 8 Race Series, and I'm pleased to announce that this year, the race series raised just shy of $200,000 for local charities. And our Green Auto Mile dealers collectively stepped up and continue to fund the live streaming of Green High School athletic events. Last year, the Green Auto Mile sponsored Freedom Fest, our largest annual event in our community. We're truly blessed by the generosity of our local businesses. As mayor, it's incredibly encouraging to see businesses who are so generous with our community reinvesting in themselves, and continuing to grow. In addition to Sarah Auto Park's planned expansion in 2025, currently, Sergeant Clean continues to complete its expansion and is expected to open its second car wash tunnel this spring. Neo Behavioral Health Clinic Research is building on to their existing facility along Altman Road. Toth Buick GMC is also adding to their dealership. And Apollo Bowling, the former Turkeyfoot Lanes on Main Street, is under new ownership and opened in 2024 after an extensive renovation. And last year, we welcomed the following new restaurant options: Bahia Bowls, Noodles and Company, Wayland's Ice Cream, Kittle's Brick Oven Pub, Situ's Lebanese Grill, the Whimsical Whiskers Cat Cafe and Rescue, and Confessional Coffee and Pastries. And I'm excited to share that a new destination restaurant, The Industry, will be opening in the former East Liberty Schoolhouse on Arlington Road. I got a sneak peek of the restaurant and am excited to try it out when it opens in a few weeks. In addition to restaurants, 15 other retail and service businesses, including Hometown Roofing, Prime Commercial Roofing, and Tire Source, opened in Greene this past year. It's been my pleasure to meet with so many of our local business leaders. When I took office last January, I wanted to fill my calendar with visiting as many as possible. In all, I think I averaged about one a week this year. This is one of my favorite parts of the job, and I thoroughly enjoyed learning about what industries, services, and goods are made and produced right here in Greene. Let me share a few stories. Speaking about quilts, Sue Spargo is a world-renowned artist in needle felting and textile art. With more than 20 employees, this is not your grandma's quilt shop. It's an international business selling its own brand of needle felt kits, fabrics, and threads throughout the world from Greene, Ohio. Her classrooms and store serve as a vibrant hub of artistic expression and learning, inviting residents and visitors alike to discover the beauty of fabric art. And artists and makers from all over the United States and Canada come to Greene to take a class with Sue. We have some of Sue's creations on the other side of the stage, to my left, and I invite you to take a closer look at these lovely examples of her art later in the evening. Sue recently purchased a new building, just a few doors down on Butler Oaks Drive, almost directly across from Greene High School, and will be expanding her business with additional classrooms and a larger showroom. I was also impressed with the work being done at Collins Aerospace. They design and test new aerospace technologies for the commercial airline industry and military defense. Currently, they have one of the most advanced wind tunnel test facilities located right here in Greene. Meeting with our business community one-on-one is invaluable. It helps me formulate policies that support their success by understanding their challenges. One challenge I hear repeatedly is the need for people. A number of business owners have told me, "I'd hire 5 people today." This sentiment echoes across industries as our workforce ages. As we face the demographic cliff, fewer babies being born since 2007, finding skilled and unskilled workers will become an even bigger challenge. So what can we do to support our businesses in this area? That's where initiatives like Engaging Greene come in. We launched this program to connect local businesses and community leaders as a way to share resources, create opportunities, and discuss solutions. At our first event held at the Maps Air Museum, over 100 attendees explored strategies for employee attraction, retaining, and training. We invited Stark State College and Aerial Corporation to present how their partnership meets the needs of developing the workforce for their future. Aerial, located in Greene, is a leading manufacturer of reciprocating gas compressors on a global scale. In addition to their story of success, we also highlighted business services and funding opportunities available through the state of Ohio. Looking ahead, we plan to make Engaging Greene a biannual event, with the next gathering scheduled for April to tackle the pressing issues our business community faces and to continue fostering collaboration and growth. But perhaps the most important thing we can do as a city is create a community that attracts people, especially young people and families. Our goal is to be the city in Northeast Ohio where everyone wants to live. Historically, economic development focused on attracting businesses because people follow the jobs. Today, this paradigm has shifted. People decide where they want to live first, and then they find a job. So what do people want? What do you want? In simple terms, we all want a place to belong, a place where we can grow and prosper. We want amenities like trails, parks, restaurants, and entertainment options, but just as important, we want something less tangible, a sense of pride, a caring community, and a place to call home. By creating that sense of belonging and fostering a vibrant, welcoming community, we not only support our businesses, but also lay the foundation for Green to thrive for generations to come. Let's hear from Kelly Schultz, a native of Green, who returned to the area to join the family business 5 years ago.
I'm Kelly Schultz. I am part of a multi-generational family here in Green. My parents went to Green, grew up in Green. Me and 3 of my 4 siblings live in Green and operate a small business here in the real estate industry. I actually moved away from Green for quite a few years after college. I lived in Chicago, and there was just something that pulled me back here. I knew that there was support to be an entrepreneur, which was a vision and a goal of mine. And when I came back, I decided that I was going to get involved in the community as much as I possibly could through a couple different nonprofits, the YMCA board, Green Professionals Association, Turkey Trot, which we love and do every single year, and now a Green Community Fund. And I've just been so encouraged, not only through operating and running a business, but through those nonprofits and seeing the support that we all provide for this community really makes it feel like a big family. And when you live away in a big city where every single person you don't know, everybody's a new connection, when you come here, it literally feels like a family. And I've just been so encouraged by that since I've been back.
Kelly really does a much better job of summing up what this idea of belonging is. I'm sure many of you have your own ideas and thoughts about what home and belonging mean to you. But what we do know is that communities with individuals who take an interest and are driven by giving back to build something greater than themselves are the very places people love to live. In Green, we're blessed to have more than 250 local organizations that directly serve Green, including everything from Green Good Neighbors, Blessings in a Backpack, the Green Soccer Association, and regional organizations that serve our people. I asked Kelly to share her thoughts because she's currently the co-chair of the Green Community Fund, an affiliate fund of the Akron Community Foundation that formed in 2022. To date, the fund has already raised more than $450,000 for its endowment, with the hopes to continue towards the goal of $1 million. This January, the Green Community Fund accepted applications for its first round of funding to local nonprofits. They received 19 applications and will be granting a total of $15,000, which will be announced in March. This first round of grant funds comes directly from donors, local philanthropist Roger Reed, and Green residents, the Hollis family, the Schultz family, and the Evans family of Jeff Evans Insurance. In future years, approximately 5% of the endowed fund will be granted and reinvested in our community for deserving organizations helping those in need. Now just think about this. When our endowed fund reaches $1 million, approximately $50,000 will be available every year to support organizations serving families and individuals right here in Green. Every single year. That's the power of compounding interest, and more important, the power of community. And this is just one example of how our residents come together to build something bigger than themselves. Green has long since had this power of community, beginning back in the 1990s when the Green Schools Foundation began. Their current endowment is now more than $700,000 and supports teachers and special programs at Green local schools. In addition, they're the premier scholarship organization, providing more than $26,000 in scholarships to graduating Green students each year. Both of these organizations are driven by 10 to 15 community members who make up their respective boards. These residents come together for the greater good. This happens almost every day throughout our city, not just with these two organizations. It happens when parents of baseball players donate their time to be coaches and team moms. It happens when 30 people come together to pack bags for Blessings in a Backpack on the third Thursday of every month. It happens when a team of volunteers assemble beds at Greensburg United Methodist Church for children that don't have a bed to sleep on. It happens every day, all across our community. What warms my heart is the power of giving brings people together. When we join with others who have the same goal, purpose, and vision for something, whether it be small or large, it makes an imprint on who we are. That's where our thread that binds us together begins to weave our community story. And let me tell you, I've never attended a meeting or event where people come together to help others that the room isn't filled with smiling faces. We also come together for other reasons than to help our neighbors. We come together to plan and envision what we want our future green to be. This past year, we conducted a year of community engagement as we updated our comprehensive plan, the guiding document on what we want our city to look like and strive for. The process included a steering committee made up of a cross-section of 21 of our residents. Their input and guidance helped our consultant draft a plan that will help steer our administration for the next 10 to 15 years. We also assembled groups of residents to assist us to plan out the summer concert series. And in the fall, I was pleased to swear in our first Veterans Commission. They serve as advisors to our council and administration. If you recall, I asked last year at State of the City for your ideas and suggestions, and through the suggestion of resident Abby Monty, the Veterans Commission was born. Thank you, Abby, for your suggestion. Thank you to the members of the Greens Veterans Advisory Commission for your service to our country and our community. And thank you to all those who volunteered this year. We also come together to celebrate and just enjoy time together. And let me say, we know how to have fun in green. One of the first things I did when I took office last January was honestly cause our service director, Valerie Waxcar, to lose her mind when I told her I wanted to pack the amphitheater in the summer with live music on as many weekends as possible. She was for it, but the process to plan and organize a summer concert series typically begins at the end of the prior summer, not the end of January. But her team pulled it off, and I'm pleased to share that our first annual summer concert series, sponsored by Sarah Auto Group, was a huge success. And I'm pleased to announce that the second annual summer concert series, again graciously sponsored by Sarah Auto Group, kicks off on the second Friday in June. In addition to summer concerts, we celebrated the once-in-a-lifetime total solar eclipse as a community on April 8th. Thankfully, it was a pleasant day in April, which we all know isn't guaranteed, so that we could gather together as families and friends to witness this celestial phenomenon. But events and gatherings that the city hosts are not only those that pack our parks, like concerts, Freedom Fest, Artapalooza, and Twisted Wilderfest. Some are smaller gatherings that happen regularly, such as our Senior Lunch Club, we're a group of 25 or so retirees who meet up for lunch once a month. They're gracious enough now to even invite the mayor, perhaps because, believe it or not, I meet the age requirement for a senior. Or the mayor's morning meetups, which is a chance to come enjoy a cup of coffee with me at locations around the city. I started these coffee chats because I wanted to maintain a direct connection with the residents that I serve. This year, I'm hosting several of these coffee chats at some of our newer allotments and neighborhoods. Our first one of the year is tomorrow, and I invite all of you to join me at 9 a.m. at the model home at Jacobs Ridge, the new Pulte development just down the road on Butler. The coffee's on me. Since becoming mayor, I've made a priority also to meet with at least one member of Green's clergy on a monthly basis. Our faith-based community is more than a reflection of who we are. It's a cornerstone of our history and a guiding light for our future. The relationships we foster between the city and our clergy create a safety net of compassion and support, one that strengthens our entire community and ensures no one has to face challenges alone. Let me pause to share a brief update on our schools. I've shared that one of our community's points of pride is our top-rated school system. Our schools continue to hold a high standard of education, and this fall we will be opening the doors on 2 new school buildings: the Green Elementary School on Grable and Green Middle School on Steese. In addition, the Green Primary School is getting a remodel to accommodate our youngest students. Once the school buildings are open this fall, demolition on the existing schools will be completed, as well as the final touches on the community courts, our joint community recreation center. Although the school buildings will be open in August, our plan is to open the city facility in late October. This little extra time gives us a chance to test out the building systems, especially related to security between the community side and the school side, to ensure a seamless opening. And just approved by City Council, the construction on a joint bus garage with the schools is set to begin, which is once again saving taxpayers money by working together. Let's hear from Service Director Valerie Wax-Carr about this ongoing collaboration with our school system.
I think green is different in terms of our collaboration with the schools and other communities. We want to do it. It's not a forced thing. We want to do it. We want to move the community in the same direction, so it makes sense when we're serving the same people. I think one thing that the community doesn't always see is there's so many things that happen behind the scenes. It's hard to articulate sometimes the community on a daily basis, but I would want the community to know that we're always thinking of their best interests, and we try to do that together, not only to benefit the schools, but to benefit the citizens of the city of Green. It may be as simple as having a joint eclipse party together, all the way to building a $14.9 million facility. But we always try to keep in mind, that final goal, but we are behind the scenes constantly working together to improve this community.
Thank you to Green Local Schools Board of Education, Superintendent Jeff Miller, and the entire administrative staff for your willingness to collaborate, but more importantly, for your friendship and your shared heart for public service. Now, in the planning world, there's a term called third place. If your home and work are your first and second place, your third place is the next place you most likely to be. Third places could be your house of worship, a park, the gym, the yoga studio, the pickleball court, the public library, somewhere where you volunteer, or a coffee shop. It's a place that is as familiar to you as your home. What's this place for you in Green? If you were to close your eyes and think of a place you love in Green, what is that place? What we know is that third places are often where we seek community connection. It's where we meet friends and gather. It's where we feel we belong. They are places that bring us joy, perhaps because of the space, but often because of the people we meet there. As a city, we want to encourage and build more third places so all our residents feel like they have a place to belong. Belonging creates what sociologists call place attachment, or being rooted in your home because you feel connected and engaged. Studies show when residents love where they live, economic vitality follows. One way to create place attachment or a sense of place is through art. Public art provides value to cities culturally, socially, and economically. Art helps in placemaking and building a sense of pride. This summer, I gathered together several residents who are professional artists to hear their thoughts on how we can incorporate and thoughtfully add more public art. As a result, we're currently soliciting proposals from planning consultants to assist the city with developing a public arts plan funded by a $50,000 grant from Arts Now. This summer, after the consultant is selected, our focus group of artists, along with interested residents, will form a steering committee to assist with public engagement as we develop this plan that reflects our community values. Just as art brings people together and creates a sense of place, so do spaces that celebrate inclusion and community. This commitment to fostering connection is at the heart of our next initiative. This spring, I invite you to join us for the opening day of the Kleckner Adaptive Sports Field. Built in collaboration with the Cal Ripken Senior Foundation, this field will give kids with disabilities a chance to enjoy sports and just be a kid. I'm pleased to share that 100% of this project, $1.2 million, is funded entirely by grants and donations. As a father of a child with special needs, I understand the desire of families to give their kids the experience of hitting a ball or scoring a goal. The joy it brings to these kids is infectious. For parents, it's an amazing feeling to give your child a chance to be a part of something. It's about feeling like we belong and being with others who do not judge or pity, but celebrate right along with you. I know this field is going to become a special place for so many families of kids with unique abilities in green and from around the region and state. Creating spaces that bring people together, whether to play, celebrate, or simply connect with nature, is central to our vision for green. While the Kleckner Adaptive Sports Field will foster inclusion and joy for so many families, we're also excited about another project that enhances our community's access to the outdoors. In Southgate Park, the Willowdale Trail, winding through a scenic parcel of land stretching from Butler and Southgate Park all the way to Coons Road, is set to be completed by the end of April. To celebrate, we'll be hosting a first hike event. And I'm inviting the community to enjoy this beautiful new addition. This nearly 1 mile trail represents more than just a recreational path. It's a step toward our larger vision of eventually connecting Butler Park to Central Park. While we've made incredible strides in creating spaces that unite and inspire our community, there remains a lingering point of frustration for many residents: the lack of a unifying zip code. When zip codes were first assigned in the 1960s, green as we know it today didn't exist. I-77 hadn't even been built, and the city of Green was still more than 30 years away. At the time, our neighboring communities, Uniontown, North Canton, Akron, and Clinton, now they were all clearly defined. Though designed as a practical tool for postal delivery, zip codes have become much more. They're a marker of identity and pride. Being able to list Green, Ohio as your address is a reflection of belonging to this incredible community. Unfortunately, without a city-specific zip code, we face ongoing challenges, including the misallocation of taxes and fees, which underscores the importance of addressing this issue for our collective future. Today, Green is the 4th largest community in Summit County. We're thriving, prosperous, and deserve a single zip code. Granted, past mayors, including Dan Krogan, Dick Norton, and Gerard Neugebauer, have all recognized this problem and have all appealed to the U.S. Post Office for a change. So why do I think I might have a better chance of succeeding? Maybe it's timing. Maybe it's our community's tenacity in asking over and over. Or maybe just my relentless optimism. Honestly, I don't know if this time will be different. But I do know this: we're not going to give up. And maybe, just maybe, this will be the moment we succeed. We're following the process laid out by the post office in making our case this year. Green City Council just passed a resolution of support for a single zip code. And we have letters of support from U.S. Representative Amelia Sykes, Summit County Sheriff Candy Fothery, and several Green business leaders. If you'd like to be part of this effort to unite Green under one zip code, please reach out to my office. We'd love your support. That said, whether or not we achieve this milestone, one thing is certain: our community pride runs deep. It always has, from our residents to our schools and businesses. Green is strong because of the connections we've built with each other. That's what makes us one Green, no matter the zip code. So as we look ahead to 2025 and beyond, it's clear that Green's strength lies in its people and the connections we share. It all brings us back to the threads that unite us together. We build a community that balances growth with belonging, where businesses thrive, families flourish, and individuals find their place in the fabric of our city. Whether through new parks and trails, enhanced public safety measures, or collaborative projects with our schools and businesses, we are shaping a future that reflects our shared values and vision. So as we look ahead, I come back to this question. Of everything I've shared tonight, have you found where you belong? Where will you write your name on our quilt and become a part of Green's unfolding story? This year, let's continue to celebrate what makes Green special: our commitment to each other, our willingness to innovate, and our pride in the place we call home. Thank you for being a part of this incredible journey, for your dedication to our community, and for the role you play in making Greene a city where everyone is valued. Together, we will continue to weave a tapestry of belonging that future generations will cherish. Thank you and good night.